first of all, for joining us. Thank you for joining us for this session, Expanding the ADDIE Toolkit and Integration in Instructional Design. And I am joined today by the inimitable Nafia Pristina, who works with me here at UCF. We want to let you know that this session is not about hyping up or dismissing AI. What we want to do instead is discuss thoughtful integration with the ADDIE Toolkit. The idea of a toolkit is to emphasize that AI, along with ADDIE, are a great addition to whatever strategy you already are using for your AI integration. So we're going to talk a little bit about why this conversation is important. AI is everywhere in our world today. We can't dismiss it anymore. So, integrating AI in instructional design matters. We all know that it's not going anywhere. Some faculty are experimenting with it, and some are afraid to utilize it fully because of the implication in their classes. Designers and instructional technologists are being asked for guidance. So we sit here at the intersection of design with pedagogy and technology. We want to ensure that this is something we continue doing as we go forward. We want to be able to give guidance. We want to be able to speak well about what is happening. And finally, we want to together figure out the changes in AI. So we hope that this session will provide you some opportunities for reflection, and we will share examples of how we have seen and what is happening in our research as we incorporate AI in ADDIE work, in our instructional design work, specifically using the ADDIE Toolkit. We want to also provide some insights from our current research, but let's start with a reflection. So think about the following questions as you listen to the session or as you engage. Do you know anyone who isn't using AI in their work today? How might you encourage that person to start using AI in their own design? We encourage you to keep these questions in mind as we continue through the presentation, and we hope that this will also give you some insights into how you might approach these questions. I'm handing over now to Nafia.
Thanks, Flo. I'm really liking your talking avatar. So thank you for getting us started. So let's talk about what are our goals for using Gen AI in ID, and why might we even encourage our teammates to use AI in their work? The answer, I think, by now is simple. We utilize AI to empower our work and create better outcomes and hopefully better results altogether. So I recently listened to a podcast from Ellie Miller, and she said it best. We use AI in any form to do things faster, to do things better, and hopefully we get to do some new things, things that we were not able to do before. Like, for example, for me, creating videos is not an easy task, but being able to use text to video or prompt to video is pretty awesome. And then we can also use simple prompts to create graphics or infographics in our work. So why ADDIE still matters? It's very important that before we jump into AI, we ground ourselves in the design process. That's a lot of excitement around AI tools that we are seeing, but the real question is, how do we use them without losing good design, right? So that's where ADDIE still matters. First, it provides a structure for us. It keeps us from jumping straight into the tools and guides us through a clear process from understanding learners to evaluating our results. Second, it supports intentional design. AI can generate content, but it still doesn't know your students, the content, or overall goals. So that's where our expertise matter. Third, it helps us decide where AI adds value. Instead of asking, how can I use AI? We ask, where does it actually support the process? This turns AI into a purposeful tool, not just a quick fix. So let's dive deeper into the ADDIE model and the steps therein. So, for those of you who are familiar with ADDIE, this is just a refresher, and maybe for some of you, is something new. So, ADDIE is one of the most widely used frameworks in instruction design because it gives us that clear structured process, uh, in a step-by-step approach. So, it includes these 5 stages. Analysis is where we understand our learners, the problem, and the context. The design is where we define our outcomes, assessments, and learning activities. In the development phase is where we create the actual course materials. Implementation is where the learning experience is delivered and supported. And then finally, evaluation is where we assess what worked and what needs improvement. As we move forward, let's look at how AI can support each of these stages while keeping design decisions in our hands. So AI in analysis phase helps us with processing information quickly. I hope that we all have some hands-on experience in this. It helps us summarize survey data, identify patterns in student performance, and even helps draft learner profiles, like we've seen in the keynote speech today. This gives us a faster starting point for understanding our learners so we can serve them better. But this is also where we need to be very careful. AI sometimes can oversimplify complex situations or reflect biases in our data. So while AI helps spot trends, we still need to be responsible for interpreting what those trends actually mean. In the design phase, AI is especially helpful for brainstorming and drafting ideas. It can help generate learning objectives, suggest aligned activities, and help connect outcomes with assessment and the overall content. This can speed up early stages of course planning, but the key point here is designers set the direction. AI suggests possibilities, but we decide what actually fits our goals and our students' goals. So AI supports the process, but we make the final decision in our design work. In the development phase, AI can save us a lot of time. It can generate quiz questions, rubrics, case studies, and practical activities fairly quickly. This makes content creation much more efficient. But here's the key reminder: faster doesn't always mean better. We still have to check our work. AI generated materials still need to be reviewed for accuracy, alignment, and the right cognitive level for our students. So while AI speeds things up, quality still depends on us. In the implementation phase, AI can support students directly. Tools like AI tutors or chatbots can answer questions, explain concepts, and provide immediate feedback. But it's important to remember that AI should support, not replace you, the instructor. Faculty presence and guidance still play a key role in student learning and success. Finally, AI in evaluation helps us identify patterns in student performance, group similar responses, and highlight where students are struggling. This makes it easier to spot what's working and what's not, so we can change things. AI can also help check consistency in grading and feedback. But the real value is this: AI handles the data and we focus on improving the learning experience. All right, time for some more reflection. Let us invite Flo to guide us with this and also provide some research guidelines for us.
Okay, before I go into the research, I would like to invite you to present with us. So now it's your chance to start writing in the chat. In which ADDIE phase would AI help you right now, right today, if you were doing something? Would it be in the analysis, in the design, the development, the evaluation? Where would it help you, the implementation phase? So please put your answers to that in the chat. I'm seeing development, I'm seeing design, design and development, design, development in creating assessments. Awesome. The next question is, where do you feel most excited about using AI, especially if you're an ID or if you are faculty who is using AI for the first time and as your own instructional designer. Where do you feel most excited? Analysis, evaluation. Okay. The final question for you before we go on and to the research is, where do you feel most cautious? What's causing you anxiety? What's keeping you up at night about your implementation of AI in your work? What's bothering you the most? And I'm seeing analysis, analyze, evaluation. And why is that? Feel free to expand your response as you talk. Somebody said, I'm not sure I'm excited at all. That's fair. We are all over the place as AI continues to change because the technology is outpacing the pedagogy, and it makes it very difficult for us to put guardrails on what we are working through. Critical thinking, making sure I'm planning instruction based on valid interpretation of the data. And we're going to talk a little later about the human AI, human engagement, because at the beginning, you have to be the architect of whatever it is that you are doing with AI. And then you invite AI into your workspace, then you check the results. All right, so we're going to look at what the research is saying. So thank you so much for engaging. So Nafi and I conducted some research, and we were looking at what AI does in the work, and we're seeing data privacy concerns as well. So what we found in the research in our examination and exploration is that AI works best as a supporting partner. You can't leave your work to AI. You can't outsource it like it's a consultancy agent and just don't do anything because you paid. You have to start with your own ideas and allow AI to amplify your ideas. You have to make sure that you are thinking outside the box because AI gave you something. And what I'm noticing with AI, what we have been noticing, not just in the research, but in practice, is that AI is now conflating your ideas. So if you have several chats in the same model, it will pull things from one chat into the other chat, like you are continuing a conversation. So it's very important that you look at what you are getting. It might help you to do things more efficiently. So you can ask AI to generate three essay questions from a 20-page journal article. However, it is important that you align the capabilities with the design and development stages of the ADDIE model. They can allow you to engage quickly, but when it comes to analysis and evaluation, it is strongest in application of instructional design and content development. In our paper, Coding the Curriculum, we saw that Choi et al. 2023 highlight the potential of generative AI tools to support instructional design tasks such as course planning, design, content generation, development of learning activities, materials, and assessment. And this aligns with what you are saying in the chat as well. So even though it is codified in the literature, we are seeing in practice that AI must be your partner. Don't outsource your thoughts to AI. As we work with AI, we want to emphasize the importance of ethics and human oversight. These remain central to mindful AI adoption. So as you adopt, you want to make sure that you are working through. So we have some practical guardrails for you that we would like to share from the literature. The most important thing is that you must start with pedagogy. Ask yourself, why am I using AI? How will it support my work? How will my students benefit? The second thing is continue to be transparent about AI use. Tell your students, for example, to prepare our slides, we use AI to identify examples of AI in the ADDIE model. However, we also talked a lot and made sure as we reviewed that the content was accurate and pedagogically sound. So we are not outsourcing our cognition to AI. We want AI to support our work. It is very important that you review your output critically. You, the educator, you are responsible for the output in your course, for the output on your slides, for the output in the recommendation that you get help to write, for the output in the CV that you ask it to enhance. You are important. You are the most important part of the work, and you have to review critically. We must consider student success in everything we do. How are we helping the students to integrate their knowledge and ideas with the output of AI? These are some of the recommendations for responsible AI integration from our research, and we want to share some of the takeaways as well. So we found some key takeaways that AI is not a strategy and ADDIE is a structure that we can use to support us in using AI. We want to highlight integrating AI. AI is not a strategy. AI tools support many tasks in course design, but the strategy still comes from pedagogy, from your learning outcomes and your instructional goals. Efficiency does not automatically mean effectiveness. AI can generate materials quickly, but quality learning still depends on the alignment between the outcomes or among the outcomes, activities, and assessment in your work. AI ADDIE can provide a useful structure. It helps us to identify where AI can support the design process without replacing instructional decision making. So designers and faculty must remain those decision makers. AI can assist with analysis, brainstorming, content generation, all the things that Nafia talked about earlier. But the contextual understanding and pedagogical judgment that guide meaningful learning comes from the person in the equation. Ultimately, the goal is not to replace instructional designers with AI, but to expand the instructional design toolkit in intentional and responsible ways. All right, so thank you for that. So I want to hand it back to Nafia to just close us out with the questions and comments. What's our time looking like, Nafia?
We're at 19 minutes.
Okay, so you have that time, and then we want to invite engagement at the end.
Yes, so now is the time for you. We would love to hear more from you. What questions or comments do you have about using AI in your work? How do you see AI expanding your toolkit? And when you're thinking about the AI model, where would AI help you the most right now? I know you already shared some ideas earlier. Hopefully, Flo's tips empowered you to think a little bit deeper into this. So feel free to share in the chat again or just speak up. We would love to hear from you. All right, so Nancy said that she likes the idea of AI being a supporting partner. Um, we've heard that you guys are thinking of using AI in the analysis phase. Um, I'm not 100% confident in its ability over my own human in general. Hey, we can always have AI as a brainstorming partner for sure. I use it for that purpose a lot. Just like uploading the survey data and asking it to provide the data for you in a more organized way. It's very helpful. So, yep, you have somebody else here who is using it for brainstorming purposes. And then earlier on, we saw that you guys were thinking about using it more in development, designing phase. So you've been doing some research on that, and our research shows that that's like Flo mentioned early. AI is proven to be very useful in the design and development phase. So keep using it, and you just get better. All right, so keep sharing your thoughts with us. I would like to move on to the next section where we're going to share some resources with you. I believe Susie shared the link to our slides early here, and if not, this would be a good time, Susie, for you to do that. We also have the QR code that you can scan here. You also have our contact information and link to the article that me and Flo wrote. And then I'm going to quickly move to the resources page because this is actually some good stuff that you want to dive into. The first two resources are course examples, which were developed by myself and Flo. The first one is a special programs course model, which I designed using the ADDIE framework. And in there, I actually show real examples how I used AI from like early stages of me learning how to use AI to some more advanced examples how I use AI today. So hopefully you can find that beneficial. And we also grabbed some resources from other institutions that we refer to. Um, Thank you, Susie, for sharing the link here in the chat. Um, Thank you so much for being here. I hope that this session gave you ways to think about integrating AI into your work, and hope that you enjoy the rest of this workshop. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Flo and Rafia. That was a wonderful presentation on the ADDIE model. If you have any questions, feel free to stick around. Could we see the slide with the paper information and QR code? Do you have
Of
that
course.
information? Yeah. Oh, perfect. Otherwise, come back to the TOPkit workshop for our next presentation, the Best in Track presentation, and that will be happening at 3:20. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Susie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susie, and thank you everyone for coming. Connect with us. Let's chat some more about this.
Perfect. I'm going to stop the recording.